Time for an interim conclusion on our question, what are the functions of perceptual awareness? Difficult question. The approach we're taking is to try to look at cases where allegedly there is a lack of perceptual awareness. Perhaps stripping away the perceptual awareness can reveal something about its function. And indeed, I think we already have learned something about its function, albeit not something positive. So there is a simple idea which has been historically quite compelling. I'm calling this the simplest idea. Perceptual awareness enables control of action. Because you're perceptually aware of a letter, you can point to that letter and categorize it and so on. Now, an initial objection to this comes from the work from the 19th century by Sidis. But that work was not, by modern standards, carefully controlled, so it shouldn't really count for us as a convincing demonstration. Nevertheless, it provides us with an interesting objection, not because the objection is conclusive, but because it illustrates how we attack this simplest idea. Essentially, the same logic is being applied 100 years later with the discovery of blind sight, which reveals that sometimes variations in perceptual awareness of a dot or other object make no measurable difference to action. And if that's right, it seems that the simplest idea should be rejected. Not because we have here a demonstration that it's wrong, but because we've been able to create masses of doubt about how the simplest idea could be true. Take away the perceptual awareness, the ability to act appears to be retained. Now, things are actually worse than I've told you so far. According to Shea and Frith, there is no clear case for task for which consciousness is required. When they say consciousness, they're going to include perceptual awareness. There's no clear case for task for which consciousness is required. Now, if that's right, then I think our question, what are the functions of perceptual awareness? It's very unlikely that we're going to be able to answer that question at the top at all. Our best hope of being able to answer the question is to find cases where, perceptual awareness is required. Frith and Shea are saying that there aren't any such cases at all. That might even lead us to be skeptical that there is such a thing as perceptual awareness. Who knows? That's for the future. One last thing before I leave you at the end of this week's lectures. There is a weekly seminar task, and for the first 2 weeks, that weekly seminar task involves questions which, in the preceding week's lectures, I've been discussing. So the pattern previously was the lectures are providing for a discussion of the questions, which you're then answering in writing an essay for your seminar and then discussing in the seminar task. Now, this week is a little bit different, and a lot of people are going to complain. A lot of people are going to say to me, this is based on my past experience, I've been teaching for a while. People are going to say to me, Steve, you've asked us to answer questions for our seminar next week, but these are not the questions that you have been discussing in the lectures. You haven't discussed these questions in the lectures. And you're going to complain about that. And I say, look, that's actually intentional. That's intentional. I'm not sure that makes it better. People are probably more annoyed when I say that, actually. But there's a very sound reason for it. And the reason is this. You are starting at this university program, taking steps towards becoming researchers. And one of the key steps towards becoming a researcher is, doing some independent research. So in this case, what you're being asked to do for the seminars this week is to read something that hasn't previously been discussed in lectures or seminars or anything else, and independently attempt on the basis of what you've read to answer some questions. That's the idea. That's a good challenge, and it's a challenge which I think you're up to on the basis of the very strong work which I've already read from your seminars in week 1. But we're not leaving it quite there. What we're going to do is the following week give you a second opportunity to answer the question on the basis of perhaps rereading the paper, but also of discussion in these lectures of the questions for the seminar. So now the idea is this: read the paper, try to work out answers to the questions, good answers to the questions, just on the basis of your own reading. Have some discussion of that in the seminars, some peer reviews. Secondly, we then have also discussion in the lectures. So you've got seminars and lecture discussion of these questions, and now have a go at rewriting what you first wrote. It will probably be better. This is a key part of becoming an independent researcher. On this course, it's not really me who's doing the philosophy. What I'm trying to do is to provide a few signposts and let you know about some of the basic literature, but it's you rather than me who's the philosopher.